more on that, we're joined by Dr. Emmanuel Navon. He's a research fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security. Thank you very much for being with us. So the forced landing has sparked global outcry and accusations of state terrorism. EU leaders are working on further sanctions, and airlines, of course, are avoiding the Belarusian airspace now. What do you expect the next steps to be? How long can airliners avoid the airspace? And are we indeed set to see sanctions being posed on Lukashenko's government?
Well, I hope that there will be such sanctions, and tough sanctions, because this is a test for the West, for the European Union, and for the United States. It's not only vis-a-vis Belarus and Lukashenko, it's also vis-a-vis Russia, because, of course, Vladimir Putin is his backer. And I think the West has to display a very tough position vis-a-vis this gangster state and impose tough sanctions. And I think that the European Union should also be unified. Don't forget that vis-a-vis Russia in particular, many European countries go their own way. For example, the Germans with the Nord Stream 2 project. And I think it's about time for the EU as a whole, together with the United Kingdom and the US, to have a unified and very tough position vis-a-vis not only Belarus, but also Russia.
This is quite an extreme incident, a fighter jet downing a commercial passenger plane in order to arrest someone who claims to be a journalist. If they go through so much hassle, they must have very strong arguments. What is Lukashenko's government arguing? Who is this person?
Well, it goes to show, I think, how weak he is politically, because if you try and down an airplane in which a journalist, a blogger, is flying, it goes to show how concerned he is about criticism and how concerned he is about demonstrations against his illegitimate regime after a stolen election. But I think we also have here an extreme case of a behavior of a head of state, literally like a gangster. I mean, downing a civilian European airplane to arrest a journalist is really something we've never seen before. And therefore, I think that it is another reason, as I said, for the European Union and the United States to draw a line in the sand and signify not only to Lukashenko, but also to his Russian backer that this will not go.
Okay, just to make sure we get this clear, are they arguing that he's anything but a journalist? Are there any claims that he's a spy or that he was doing any sort of political activity? Or
first of all, even if he was, this of course would not justify this extreme act by the Belarusian dictator. But don't forget that all dictators always tend to depict opponents, whether they are journalists or leaders of NGOs, as foreign agents. So, this is a line that we hear from Putin himself, from Erdogan in Turkey. Whenever those people do not like journalists or NGOs, they accuse them of being foreign agents. This is, of course, something that has to be clarified. But again, whether this journalist is an agent or not, which hasn't been proven. I mean, Lukashenko, of course, hasn't provided any evidence. But again, even if he was, this, of course, would not justify this gangster attitude from the Belarusian dictator.
Okay, just a word about reactions from within Belarus, or at least the political system there. There's a very prominent opposition leader. What is she saying?
Well, as we know, the opposition leader has been expelled from Belarus, and there are many people in Belarus trying to take down this dictatorship after the stolen election. But unfortunately, when you see how the Belarusian dictator treats his opponents, it is very difficult for the opposition to make its voice heard and to take down this illegitimate regime.
Okay. Dr. Emmanuel Navon, thank you very much for joining us and for